7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello and welcome to Little Blessings Online. This is your toddler group, baby and toddler group, wherever you are, whenever you want it. I'm so glad you could join us. My name's Jo and this is
Andy B.
And we are sitting comfortable and we have a nice cup of tea. So I hope you two are sitting wherever, whenever, nice and comfortably with something nice to drink.
And we've got an awful lot coming up today. As ever, we have song time a little bit later. We've got story time, which we're going to do a little differently today. And we've also got another of Jo's amazing art time videos, which is really cool. And if you haven't guessed what we're making, you can look at our heads and here we go. This is what Jo's making. So this is the art time for a little later. And today is the last Little Blessings Online for a couple of months. We're going to take a couple of months off. We've got other things we're going to be doing, which is exciting. We're going to do lots of work on some new songs and some new stuff for Little Blessings and other projects as well. You can stay in touch with berrybunch.family via the website. But this is the last one for a little while. But that's good. It's still good.
Yes.
We're going to have some fun. So we've got lots coming up today. But we've also got something we've recently done. And if you don't know quite how to pray, or you'd like to pray a really simple prayer, or you want someone to pray for you, we've got something specifically just for you for that. So we've got some exciting news coming at you from the Berry Bunch family. We've been doing daily family prayers live on Facebook from 1 o'clock. We've done about 85 live sessions and we've thoroughly enjoyed it. We've had prayer requests from Poland, Nigeria, the USA, UK. It's been quite cool. We've got a brand new shiny format for that, which we're going to kick off from Monday. And it's going to be called Prayer 262. You'll find out why in a minute.
Yeah, so we're going to pray for 10 minutes in tops, 6 minutes praying, and then 2 minutes thanking God.
Still going to be on Facebook, still 1 o'clock live on Facebook. Hope you're going to join us for Prayer 262.
But first, what we're going to do is we're thinking about Jo's jobs. And as you've noticed, we've got hats on our heads.
We do.
And we were thinking, what sort of job would you have if you had a hat like we're wearing?
Plumber. Electrician.
No.
Truck driver.
No.
Doctor. Nurse.
No. It's a chef's hat. So you do some really good cooking, some nice meals with a hat like this. And I don't know if you've ever seen Mary Poppins. And there was a guy in there called Mr. Banks, and he worked in a bank, and he had a bowler hat. So that showed that he worked in a bank in London. Now, let's see if you can work out then when we show you some pictures of what the jobs are. So the first one is hard hat. Now, there's lots of those hard hats, lots of different colours. What do you think would be the job?
Truck driver.
Yeah, actually, you did wear a truck.
I used to wear one a lot because I operated cranes off the back of the lorry. Well, it was a lorry mounted crane, specifically.
Ooh.
A vehicle mounted crane. And I used to wear a hard hat a lot.
Yeah, and what colour was yours?
I had a red one,
The red one.
which I didn't like, and then I had a yellow one, which I did like. That was much comfier.
Yeah. Well, Bob the Builder wore a yellow hat, so builders wear them as well. Okay, this next picture is not just a hat, it's the whole uniform, so I'm sure you can guess who this is. This is a police officer. And the next one, again, is the full uniform, but you might not know quite sure what you call this one. It's a big, fluffy black hat. And they are guards, aren't they, for the palace?
Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, for the Queen and
Yes,
the royal
they look after the
family.
Queen.
Yeah,
Good.
absolutely fantastic. This last one then, what do you think of this hat? Now this hat, or I should say helmet really, isn't it? It's a firefighter helmet. So there's a whole heap of hats that we can wear that show us what jobs we do. Brilliant.
So for story time today, we're going to look at a man called Joe. Joseph. Joe for short. Joe, it was a bit shortest. Anyway, so Joseph was a pretty amazing guy. Now, the little bit of a story about Joseph. Joseph was not liked by his brothers very much. We looked at this last week. Joseph was not a very popular brother. He had his big flashy coat and he was a bit full of himself, I think you could probably say. And he wasn't very popular. So his brothers, they hatched up this, well, it wasn't such a good plan in one sense, in any way, because they sold him to work for somebody else, which wasn't very nice because they didn't own him, but they sold him anyway. And eventually, Joseph, who had been a shepherd,
Bah!
so he's sold into slavery, which is pretty boo. There you go. So he's sold into slavery and eventually goes to work for a man called Potiphar. Now, Potiphar was a guy that hired Joseph, and if you've ever watched, I don't know, Pride and Prejudice, the BBC classic Pride and Prejudice, you got all these layers of servants, and right at the very bottom of the servants, it's probably someone that would clean the shoes, maybe. And that's what Joseph started at. So he entry-level job, really. But he worked really hard and he was really faithful to his master, to his boss, Potiphar. And eventually he became housekeeper, kind of like a butler, if you're thinking about that. So it's like the top level of the servant. So that was kind of awesome. Some bad stuff happened, and then Joseph found himself in prison, wrongly committed for a crime he did not commit. But in prison, some really good stuff happened, because Joseph met a baker and he met a cupbearer. Let's forget that name. Now, Joseph was trusted so much by the people in the prison, he was actually allowed and trusted to look after the other prisoners. Now, if he wasn't a very nice man, he might have opened up the gate and then all the prisoners could have said goodbye and they'd have been off on their way. But Joseph was a really honest man, so he cared well for the people in the prison. And that's how he got to know the cupbearer and the baker. Now, the baker probably would have worn a hat, a bit like the chef hat, okay? And the cupbearer probably wouldn't. But the cupbearer is an interesting one. It's not something we'd really have today. We'd use machines or technology or sensors or something. But the cupbearer was a really important role. So we are, I don't know, 3,000-4,000 years ago in time. And back then, if you didn't like the king or the queen, you might try and, lose them. It happens. So, and this is what the cupbearer was there to stop. Because the cupbearer, it's kind of a good job, I suppose, because the cupbearer got to eat and drink all the best foods just before the king or the queen. And as long as the cupbearer didn't die, then the king or queen would eat their food. So they got some really nice food, but there was always the risk of eating the food, saving the life of the king or queen, but not making it to tea time. So that wasn't so good. But now the cupbearer and the baker, they'd upset the king. So the king said, right, off to prison. And while they were there, they had some dreams, and Joseph interpreted the dreams. So this is Joseph with the fancy coat, Technicolor dream coat. He interprets the dreams, and they think, this is amazing. This is kind of cool, isn't it? Anyway, they go on, and one day the king is there, and one of these people is there, and the king has a dream, and he says, if anybody can interpret my dream, I'll give you all sorts of really cool stuff. And nobody could. They all tried, because it's like win a million quid if you can interpret my dream. No one could. And Joseph was remembered as someone who interprets dreams. The king said, come and get me Joseph, quickly. So Joseph goes to the king. And the king says, here's my dream, Joseph. And Joseph says, this is what your dream means. And the king says, yes, that's it. I'll tell you what, Joseph, I'll make you second in command of the entire country. So you got the king, and then you got Joseph. Now, don't forget, Joseph started life in this area of the world. He started life as the lowest servant, rose to become a butler, went into prison, which wasn't so good, slowly rose up the ranks of not quite. And then he sees the king, and the king says, right, you're second in command. You don't have to answer to anybody. Whatever you do, the only person you have to answer to is me as the king. And that's the story of Joseph and his jobs. He had quite a few. So he had a shepherd. He worked for a man called Potiphar, became a servant, became a butler. He went to look after the prisoners in prison where he was wrongly convicted, sent to prison. He meets a baker and a cupbearer, and eventually the king appoints him second in command to Pharaoh. Now, if you ever think about writing a CV when you're getting older, a CV is you send it off to somebody and say, look at what I've done. And if your CV said I was a shepherd and I was a lowly servant, well, you might be looked at okay. But if your CV said I was second in command of a country, you'd probably get the job, whatever it was. And that's Joseph and his jobs. Wow. Well, now we're going to move on to song time.
Yeah, song time today. Well, if you were Joseph, and what he'd been through, you'd be very thankful to God. So our song next is
Jesus Love.
It's very wonderful.
Jesus love is very wonderful. Jesus love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Oh, wonderful love. Jesus' love. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Oh, wonderful love. So high, you can't get over it. So low, you can't get under it. So wide, you can't get round it. Oh, wonderful love. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Oh, a wonderful love. So high, you can't get over it. So low, you can't get under it. So wide, you can't get round it. Oh, a wonderful love. So high, you can't get over it. So low, you can't get under it. So wide, you can't get round it. Oh, wonderful love. Jesus' love. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Oh, wonderful love. Jesus' love. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is so wonderful. Oh, wonderful love.
That was great. A nice bouncy song there. I think Joe would have been well chuffed at the end there with that really cool job that he got. So hope you enjoyed that. So next up then is we're going to have art time. Now art time today, we're going to be making a chef's hat. So look and see how you can do this. For art time today, we're going to make a chef's hat. As you can see here, here's one with a pattern on and here's a plain one. What we're going to need is a ruler, some scissors, some sticky tape, some glue, parchment paper or greaseproof paper, and some just normal paper, and obviously some colouring and things, so pens, crayons, whatever you like, or paints. I'm going to start then with the paper and using a ruler. So you might have a small one. Most of us haven't. We need 100 centimeters, so you just use your ruler. What you just measure it along. It's not exact, just an idea, around 10 centimeters. So that's what I've just done. I've got a ruler and just guided me to a sort of 100 centimeter about, and that's fine. You cut the greaseproof paper like that, and then we can turn that around. And what you want to be doing with your greaseproof is making a fan. I don't know if you've ever made a fan before, but you fold the paper at the end like that, then you go the opposite fold, and then back again, and just keep doing that right up to the end of the 100 centimeters, and like this. So you can see I've done this earlier. That's a fan. We're going to put that to one side, and now we're going to concentrate on our paper. So to make the hat the right size, just need 2 pieces of paper stuck together. If you need a bigger hat, you can do 3 pieces of paper. Obviously it's a good idea to check to make sure it fits when we get to that point. But just I usually put 3 dabs of sticky tape, 1 on each end and 1 in the middle, to hold it together. And then we're going to do some folding. So we need to fold this way. And fold together at the edges. Doesn't matter how neat it is, it's just fine as long as we've got a fold. And then we fold again, and this is where we get our art on and do a pattern, do some colouring. So you can have it plain or put your name on it, or do some colouring. So I think I might do some circles on mine. You'd make it very colourful, or you could draw a picture, and that's what we do. I put some circles there. I might put some blobs in the middle. Yeah, you can spend as much time as you like decorating it. That's absolutely fine. And once you're happy with your decoration of your hat, then we need to do some gluing. So we need to glue at the back there along here, so that sticks together. And then I'll show you from my one I've done earlier. So I've done a pattern like that. I've glued it at the back. What we need to do is turn it around the other way round, and we need to glue inside and pop the paper in, the fan, in here. So what we need to do is just glue it first, and just remember to turn it around so that I'll show you in a minute. You want the pattern on the outside, and that's why I'm turning it the other way around, so we don't get the pattern on the inside of the hat. And so there we go, we've got the unpatterned on this side. And the best thing to do is to start at each end, pop it inside there, and pop it inside here. There we go, and just squish. This doesn't have to be neat. That's actually, I think it looks even better when it's not neat. And then we need to put some glue on top here. Lots of crinkly noises as you do it. Just blobs really along the way, because this glue is really quite sticky and quite effective. It really does work, so it's not a problem. And then there we go. Oops, put that down there. Oh, some more glue there. And stick that down. Okay. We need to stick this side down as well. And you can put as much glue on as you want. Sometimes you just perhaps need a blobs at the ends and blob in the middle, and that might suffice. There we go. Now this is the bit, remember, as I say, put the pattern, I know it seems odd, but put the pattern on the inside and spin it round. Obviously measure it for your hat size, and we're going to squish the top together. This is fun, this is. Put the sticky tape around the top, just a bit at the top there, and make sure it just holds together. Can be a bit awkward because it's greaseproof, so we're putting tape on it. There we go. Looks a bit funny at the moment, doesn't it? So we've done that. Now we're going to turn it inside out. Now, there you see, I need to turn it inside out so we can see the pattern. And this, you just basically just squish it about. Now, what we need to do is stick it together there. So you can use glue or sellotape on the inside or the outside. I'm just going to pop some sellotape to hold it together, and so make sure it fits the person who's going to wear it, and you just keep squishing it. And we need to hold these, as you see, we've got a bit of a gap at the moment, so we need to hold this together. What I found was greaseproof paper doesn't like to be stuck by sellotape very well, so you probably need to use glue to hold it together at the side. There we go. Just hold that with the glue. It seems to be happy with glue, but not sellotape. There we go. Squish that together so there's no gap. Take as much time as you want to do that. No rush. Yeah. Fantastic. And then what we need to do, we need to pop it out. This is good fun, this. Just make it, pop it out like that. And as you can see, we have ourselves a chef hat. Enjoy. I did enjoy making our hats. I made quite a few actually, got into it, and I had a lot of fun, so I hope you'll have a go at that. What were you doing before we started the video?
Yeah, I had a plan. So I want to hold that up. There you go. I got a little happy face, and I got some little green circles and some purple triangles, and it says Andy B. Now, when I was driving trucks back in the day, I got a bit fed up. Everywhere I went to building sites. That's where I used to deliver to. So building brand new houses. You like Drive? And I used to get a bit fed up with this because my name wasn't Drive. I'm not a road or part of it. I'm actually a driver. Didn't even call me driver, just drive. You like Drive? So I got a bit fed up, and Joe bought me a registration plate which I put in the front of my cab, and it said Andy B on it. So I've been Andy B for 25 years, longer than that. And then when I got to the sign, it says you like Drive, I'd say I have a name, and I'd point to me truck, and then it got quite good. You right, Andy? after that.
Yay, it
So I had
worked.
a name. So I thought I'd put it in my hat.
That's a good idea.
I
No
thought so.
one else would take it.
No.
It's definitely Andy's hat. That's great. Well, we've come to the end of Little Blessings for this week. So thank you so much for joining us. It's time to say goodbye. Andy, before we go, what are you going to say?
What am I going to say is we're not here for 2 months now.
Oh,
So we're going to have a break for 2 months from Little Blessings Online. Don't worry, we'll be back. But we won't be here through March. We won't be here through April. You can watch old episodes, that's fine. And then in May, we will return with a bit of a new look, a bit of a freshening up and different stuff, which will be exciting. Gives me time to record some new songs, which is really great, which we can use. And the other thing is just to quickly plug once more, Prayer 262. So if you want to pray, but you just don't know how, you can send us a message through the website, through lots of different places, and you can get in touch and send us your prayer request, and we'll pray to the best of our ability. We'll pray for you, or you can watch and pray along with us. So it's a really simple thing to do. It takes 10 minutes of your time, 4 o'clock till 4:10, job done.
Yeah.
Prayer 262. So thanks for joining us. We will see you in a couple of months' time. We hope you enjoyed today's art time, the story time, a little bit of improvisation, which I quite enjoy. With that, have a great rest of your day, wherever and whenever you're watching this around the world and whatever time. Hope you've enjoyed today, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Stay up to date with the Berry Bunch. You can find us online at www.berrybunch.family. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and of course Ding Dash.